Hello, everybody in 360G land. Hope you're all doing well. Just about to join a Discord with Darren. Nick will be joining us very shortly as well. Hello, Darren. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy do, how's things?
It feels like it's been forever, dude.
It feels like
Absolutely.
it's been at least 6 weeks.
Well, it's been 4 weeks, give or take.
Has it?
Yeah, just over 4 weeks, dude. Yeah. Well, maybe
Mm.
5 because I've been away for 4, so we recorded before I went away. So no one's had like all the non-patrons haven't had a full show for a month. So
Wow.
let's hope we give them a good one tonight, shall we?
Yeah, well, it's not like there's a lot to talk about, is there? Really, like considering.
I've got some stuff on my notes, which is cool. I've played quite a few
Oh no,
games.
I'm sort of joking. It's the gaming
Yeah.
industry. There's always something to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, 100%.
plus, we're literally heading into the sort of gaming showcase month.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, so this week's show is for everybody. Literally, right? I've been away for so long, only doing Patreon shows. I've actually forgotten the order on what week's what now, so we're just gonna start fresh from this week. This week's for everybody, and then we'll just go in that order. So next week patrons, and then the week after for everyone, and go and go like that because there hasn't been a
Instead
show.
of giving it a number, just say it's the first proper show of May, and then next week you can pick up with the numbers left off again.
Oh mate, it's just I'll tell you what, it's so hard to record a podcast without all your proper equipment because obviously I went away. I was in Australia for 4 weeks. I took my laptop, but I didn't actually take a proper microphone with me. I left my podcasting mic here only because I
No
don't.
blue yet, no blue yeti.
No, I didn't take it with me purely because I didn't want it getting broken in transit. Because it's quite a heavy
True.
thing, right? And they're not cheap. About 100, I think I paid about 150 quid for it. So,
That sounds about right. Yeah.
so literally all I took with me was my my gaming laptop, my work headphones, and my dictaphone, which is what I recorded the one with Elliot with while I was away. And then the second episode we did with Elliot and Wes, I used my work headphones, and I don't think it sounded that bad actually, to be fair. But obviously not up to the standard that I like with the Yeti. We are gamers. Yeah, Australia was awesome. So if you follow me on social media, you would have seen I've been putting loads of photos on it on Instagram and Facebook and a few on Twitter and some on our Discord as well. Man, it was lovely out there. The weather. I mean, it rained a lot while I was out there, but even when it's raining, it's like 25 degrees. You're in a t-shirt and
Bit like here
shorts.
today, then.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's lovely, lovely weather out there. I didn't get sunburn, which is good. I was very sensible. And we
Is
did
that
a lot.
Nicky coming in? I heard a bleep.
Oh, Nick is here. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Hello, Nick.
Yeah.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Did I miss the start?
No, we haven't started
No,
yet.
no,
We're
we're
just chatting. I'm just
pre-show.
telling everyone about Australia. All right, Griffey, nice to see you in the chat there. Yeah, so it's just really nice to do a live show again because when we first started doing a podcast years ago, we literally would record it, and then the only time that people would be able to listen is when I put it on the feed, and it's weird. It's like it's completely different doing it that way, and I'd completely forgotten because obviously I did 2 shows while we were in Oz, and they weren't live streamed. They were recorded and then put out. And it's just a different vibe because you're not on camera. It's much more relaxed. You're just chilling out, sitting back, just and you can edit a bit more and stuff like that. It's really weird. Doing it that it was weird doing it that way again, and then obviously getting set up for this evening. I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't done this in so long. I've got to get set up, and it took me a little while to just get my head into it, to be honest. Yeah, but we are
It'll
here.
start clicking back into place.
Yeah, we'll do. So, Nick, hello.
Right.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Tired? All those hours at
No.
work you're doing?
How that all start next week? I was on normal shifts
Oh.
this week for
Right.
like 3 days. Now I'm going to be nearly 2 months of permanent 12-hour days, 12-hour nights. 6 days a
Okay,
week. That's a
so
lot.
so I'm guessing with that crazy work schedule, you're not going to be on the show for a little while.
No, not for a bit because I don't get no time to play anything. Like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
evening
yeah.
a week if I'm lucky.
Okay,
And,
so that's just so
you know,
people
might be
are.
talking about Fortnite. So
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you about that later because I saw you playing it on Xbox earlier, and I was thinking, oh my goodness. But so it's just so people are aware, Nick won't be on for a little while. Obviously, he will be back at some point, right? But obviously, real life does get in the way, so it looks like it might just be me and Darren. I'm always open to someone coming on as a third.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, so if anyone's listening and wants to come on just for one episode or something like that, please let me know. Ping me on one of the social media channels. And I will endeavour also to try and get Peebs or Stunty or Dan or one of the Americans on from the old crew if they want to come on at some point, and that would be amazing. I know everyone's just got busy lives, and it is quite difficult. So you know, I understand
Stunty's
that,
off
right?
caravanning at the moment, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I
Oh,
think so. I
nice.
think I heard he was like caravanning, and Dan's doing his like usual festivals. It's festival time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. It's summertime, man. You know, and you got to make the most of the weather. We don't get a lot of it in the UK, so I don't blame people for doing that at all, 100%. So anyway, shall we start?
Give it a few minutes if you don't mind. Just regardless of some of your escapades in Oz.
Oh, God, there's not really much to tell, really. I mean, obviously, well, met up with Elliot and everyone, well, who is a patron, got to listen to the whole episode. But just to give a quick rundown for those of you that obviously aren't patrons and didn't listen, Elliot, my first week while I was in Australia, Elliot flew over from Perth, which is about a 6-hour flight.
Wow.
Yeah, so he made a big effort to come and visit me out there. So big props to Elliot for that. I know he is my biggest fan. But yeah, we had a really good time out there. We did Australia Zoo, and that was fun. We petted some kangaroos and saw some koalas and saw the Irwins tame a crocodile, which was quite cool. But the highlight was definitely Elliot organised a brewery tour for us via boat. So Brisbane is a big city, and that's where we were staying. Staying in the suburbs. So the city's only about 20 minutes from where my wife's sister lives. So went to Brisbane, got this boat. It's basically a party boat, and it took us to 3 different breweries along the river, and they gave us beer on the boat, and at each brewery we could just drink as much as we wanted. So I was doing paddles, all of them. And for those of you who don't know what a paddle is, it's like it's basically a wooden paddle. It's got 5 beers on, and you go from light to dark. So I was doing those in the breweries, and then having pints as well. And we were all quite sozzled by the end of the evening. And that was a really good time, actually. It was a really good way to see the nightlife of Brisbane as well, because it's something I hadn't experienced. Everyone else on the boat was really, really friendly. We had a really good time, and we did a lot of drinking that session, and it was a lot of fun. Throughout my time in Australia, I did a lot of drinking. So my brother-in-law, he's Irish, and he's a big drinker, so we were drinking a lot. So yeah, I can't really keep up with him, but I gave it a good go. So yeah, drank a lot of beer, and beer is not cheap in Australia either. It's very highly taxed. The two most expensive things in Australia: alcohol and cigarettes. So if you smoke and drink beer, then you're going to be spending a lot of money out there. I think a pack of 20 cigarettes in Australia is the equivalent of £23. So that's
Bloody hell.
just putting it into perspective for people. And a pint of beer is $12 to $14. So that's about £7 or £8. So yeah, spent a lot of money on alcohol, but it was well worth it. It was a good time.
It's weird, Australia. A lot of stuff is like really expensive like that, and then some stuff is dirt cheap. But
Yeah, but one thing that's really weird about Australia is it reminds me of England about 20 years ago in some weird ways. One is there's so many fish and chip shops, it's not even funny. I think they've got more fish and chip shops than they do in a typical English town, you know, in their little town areas. They're really into fish and chips out there. They're really into pies as well. And the other thing that really struck me is how early everything closes. So you remember back, you know, many years ago in the UK where, you know, it was very similar. Shops would close early, and they'd be closed on certain bank holidays and stuff like that. It's very similar out there. So, like, shops close really early out there, even restaurants and cafes and stuff. I went to a cafe on a Saturday, you know, a busy day. I got there at 2 o'clock. And I was like, oh, I want to order some food. And they were like, no, mate, we're closing in half an hour. And I was like, what? 2:30? I was like, peak time, man. You know what I mean? Absolutely mental. And then we had it another time where we went to a restaurant, you know, in a really busy area. This was on like a Friday. And we got there at 7:30. And we were like, there was 8 of us. And it's like, oh, we want to have a table, blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, yeah, that's fine. But you need to order your food quick because the kitchen closes at 8 o'clock because we close at 8:30. I was like, what?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like in the UK,
they at least 10 or something.
Yeah. I was just like, this is so weird. So it's all those little things that I just found quite odd. Even in service stations, you get into a service station on a main motorway, and if you get there after 8 p.m, like the food places will be shut, like the McDonald's and the KFCs and stuff in there. It's fucking nuts, absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's just really, really odd.
over the last few years, we've just gotten sort of used to everything. A lot of things being open like 24/7 as well, and
Yeah.
things like that. I remember years ago, you know, that never used to, and on a Sunday, everything was shut. Everything.
Yeah, I know.
Remember
it's
when
like-
shops used to close on Wednesdays at lunchtime?
Yeah, stuff like that, and back in the good old days.
Right, shall we start?
Oh, we're not. I thought we'd already started.
No, mate, I was waiting for Darren.
No,
he
it's
was.
just 3 bits. I'm all done. I was having a ciggy outside. That's all right.
Oh, I thought you were. Yeah.
Done.
All right, are you ready? We'll go Nick, then Darren, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 120 for Tuesday, the 17th of May, 2022. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby, 360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
Limp on the Barbie! Nick Fights.
It's been a while since I switched.
How's it going, lads?
Hey,
All
mate.
good?
Good.
G'day, mate.
Talk your language now, Webby, in case you've forgotten how us British folk talk.
Oh, I know. Oh, so just adding on from the conversation that we were just having about the differences between the UK and Australia, right? One of the weirdest things, right, is they don't sell alcohol in the supermarkets. You have to go to an actual, they call them a BWS, a beer, wines, and spirits, like a specific shop to buy alcohol, and that's
Oh,
all it
right,
sells. Yeah, and they
Half
have
license.
but that's all they
okay,
sell is alcohol. And then if you want to buy cigarettes, you have to go to a tobacco shop. So they have these separate fucking shops for these two items. It's so bizarre, man. But they've got these really big ones called John Murphy's, and it's like a giant, like a big supermarket like Tesco. It's like a Tesco size, and it's just full of alcohol, like any beer, anything you can think of is in there, man. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because if they don't do that, Webby, if they start selling alcohol at the supermarkets, then all the pubs are going to close, won't they?
Well, yeah, but also
Yeah,
it's
if
just
they
it's just
close
their weird
early as well.
laws. It's just their weird laws that they have. I think just the way that to sell alcohol is odd.
I'm just saying that's what's happened over here, and a lot of since we started selling stuff like that in Tesco's and stuff like that. A lot of the local pubs have shut down.
Yeah,
And that's why
well,
they make rules for that over there.
yeah, but it's all just tax, isn't it? I mean, alcohol is expensive, right? I mean, here it's like a five a pint, £5 to £6 a pint, depending on where you are. In Australia, it's about the equivalent. It's roughly £6-7 a pint out there, so it's not too much of a difference in the pub, but it's certainly more expensive to buy, the bottled beer, can of beer out there, 100%. But yeah, it's just really, really odd that it's like that. Anyway, yeah. So I'm now back in the UK, and I landed on Thursday. I got home about 7:30 in the evening Thursday, and then I was back at work on Friday morning. So I had a really big shock to the system to get my sleeping schedule back in order. So it's taken me a couple of days to feel normal again. I do actually feel normal now. But it's just really odd being on another time zone like that and trying to talk to all the gaming crew on Discord and stuff like
It's
that. And,
yeah.
But
The
yeah.
main thing with jet lag is obviously your body adjusts to the time of a country you visit across the globe,
Yeah.
and then when you return, it takes a while for your body to get back to this
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
you'll constantly you want to sleep, and you might be absolutely exhausted, but your body's telling you like, no, it's like midday, mate. You should be
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually feel okay now, to be fair. I think, you know,
Get that every weekend working shifts, mate.
oh, I know,
True,
mate. I
that
mean,
can
yeah.
happen
Yeah.
that way.
A day I could
Yeah.
be like a zombie.
Yeah. Right, so who wants to go first with the games that they've played this week? You want to go first, Nick?
Yeah, well,
why not?
yeah, he was first in order, wasn't he?
Yeah. We'll save the best till last, obviously.
Go
Because
for it,
obviously
mate.
I haven't played loads. I played like 4 or 5 games, but
Yeah.
there's not many retro games though, so that's strange
Oh,
for me.
that is, mate. Yeah.
Played almost some new games.
Wow. I am
They're
in
on the
shock
Game
right
Pass.
now.
My Dreamcast is broken. Feel sorry for me.
You broke. Oh no! What's wrong with your Dreamcast?
It just keeps rebooting itself
Oh
like
no!
all the time, and I don't know why. So, and probably to get it fixed, it probably costs the same to like buy another one, but then another one might have the same. But apparently, it's a common problem and can get it fixed. I just don't have the time because obviously I've got
Right.
to send it away because there's not really many local shops that do retro consoles. It's just I'm upset because I've had it since 1999. 23 years. I just can't believe it's going
It's
wrong.
lasted a long amount of time.
Yeah, I think I've had my money's worth.
What's up with it? A disk drive?
That just keeps rebooting itself. I think it's a
Right.
power supply thing,
Oh, right.
something to do with the power supply. But I'm gonna probably send it back and maybe get it modded as well.
That'd be a
Get
good idea.
HDMI mod and stuff like that.
Yeah, give it a bit of a service.
Yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone and all that. So I'll do that when I get time.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've been stuck on a lot of new games, mostly on. I think they're all on Xbox actually. Yeah, the first one. This is Game Pass game as well. It's fairly new. It's called A Memoir Blue.
Never heard of it, man.
It came out on the Game Pass. It's like this
Right.
weird little sort of like indie artsy style game where you walk around, like do little puzzles and stuff like that. And I just looked at it and thought, oh, I'll play that for a little while. And it's like a story game. No one actually talks though. It's just it shows you through pictures and walking around and stuff. I think that's the basically the main character woman. I think she's fell out with her mother, and it sort of goes back and forwards in time, like where she was younger and used to be like a swimmer at school and stuff like that, and got like up, I think it's towards the Olympics because they were getting like medals and stuff like that. But you just sort of float around in like a weird sort of like dream world and things like that. And it's a really easy 1000G as well, which I know a lot of people still like the old
Well, now you know
achievement
it's going to
hunt
be
and
on
stuff.
Peebs' freaking list in a
Yeah,
couple of days, don't
yeah,
you?
you could probably get 1000G in less than an hour easily.
Oh
It's just
my
little
god.
things like I mean, you've got it up on there on the Twitch chat if anyone watches it on the Twitch. It's like you move ice cubes and stuff like that, and then the next bit of the next cutscene will start, and then you're at like a train station. You have to like pick up the money, put it in slot, get your tickets, punch the tickets and stuff, and then you're on a cutscene on a train. Things
Right.
like that. It's a
Okay.
nice little game with music and stuff like that. Nothing outstanding, but I think it's a fairly cheap game as well. I think it's less than a tenner, like if you were to buy it anyway.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice little game, so that's not too bad. But I'll move on from that because I've got a really good game coming up next,
All right. Cool. Go
which
for it,
is
dude.
Marvel's Avengers.
Oh,
Really good game. It's really good. I know you said oh. I know this game got a lot of grief when it came out, didn't it? Because it apparently was broken and buggy as hell, and you could just walk around and like fall through the scenery forever. And even now, I think they've fixed a lot of the bugs, and it's got a Series X PS5 update. The graphics are awesome in this game. Just really, really good. And the microtransactions, yeah, that's sort of peppered with them everywhere, but you can pretty much ignore that whole section. But I mean, I think a lot of people they had to get through the first like 2 hours of the game
Right.
because
Okay.
basically you start as a new character, which you see on screen, which is Miss Marvel.
She looks
It's
like
going to be in
Stretch
the new,
Girl from The Simpsons. You know, remember that
pretty
episode?
much. I think,
it's
yeah,
like Mr. Fantastic powers,
yeah, that's
basically,
pretty much who they're
kind of. But
playing.
they're
But
just the
she's
fists, which make her fist bigger.
has fists, legs. She can get taller as well, so it's sort of cross between that and sort of Ant Man and stuff like that. But you play as her for maybe the first 2 and a bit hours of the game, which I think a lot of people didn't like
Right.
because I mean we all saw the trailers, didn't we? Where you saw all the Avengers fighting over the big bridge. I think it was like the San Francisco something bridge. I don't know what it's called, but the big
Golden
red
Gate
one.
Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge, was it?
I don't know if it's red. That can't be golden, can it? Might be. I
No,
don't know.
it is
It's
red,
the
but
big.
it's called Golden, I think.
Yeah, but basically you start off the beginning, the tutorial, and you go between all the Avengers. And I mean, I'll say spoil it. It's right at the start. Basically, all the Avengers are there, sort of together fighting, and someone actually wins and set off a bomb, kills Captain America as well, because Captain America tries to stop it and doesn't. And and the bomb that goes off is like it makes everyone get superpowers within like a radius, if you see what I mean, and also done a lot of damage. So, and as usual, how governments work, they blamed it all on the Avengers because they didn't stop it. So the Avengers disbanded, and then you spend the next 2 to 3 hours playing as Miss Marvel, but then you basically go and find all the Avengers to help again. So you
Right.
go through, obviously
Okay.
find Hulk, Thor, and people like that, and then you start mixing between all the Avengers, and you can pick who you choose as well, like who you play as well.
Is
It's really cool.
Spider
I mean,
Man
I
in
think
it?
no, that's a
PS
PlayStation
exclusive.
only. It's just some like there's a lot of like time trial missions and stuff because when you get to a certain bit, you're on like the Avengers ship, which you have to fix once you get Tony Stark. And there's like a big, table where you can look throughout the globe and stuff like that and pick your missions. I just did the basics, the story missions. I didn't do much any of the side stuff. I just played through the main story because I wasn't really interested. But there's a lot of missions if you could get your money's worth, especially if it's on Game Pass, and I thought it was pretty good actually how they went about it. I think Thor was probably one of my favourite characters. They're all very similar how they control. Like the buttons you press would do the same things, and there's an upgrade system as well, which you can either just press auto upgrade or you can go in and try to make it a little bit more difficult if you want. I just obviously just pressed Y to auto update everything. But I think my favourite character was Thor in it as well, because obviously he had his hammer, and there's a few moves in that like where you can upgrade, and you throw the hammer like pretty much like at God of War where they took that from. It hit the bad guy, all the big robots or whoever and it just pin them to the ground, and they'd just be like, help me, I can't move. And then you just run up to them and just start beating the crap out of them when I'm laying on the floor because they couldn't move because the hammer was on their chest and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
It's a good game. I mean, even if it's not on Game Pass, you could pick it up for a tenner, brand new and probably cheaper second hand if you looked on eBay.
Right.
It's definitely worth that.
It's had multiple fixes and add-ons, hasn't it? It's had like the Black Panther DLC and other things
but the problem is, right, it's the same with Battlefield, right? Because it launched in such a shit state, that game is always going to be tarred with that brush, and even if they fix it to make it the greatest ever.
In a shit state. Yeah, it was. I know a lot of people were put off by the microtransaction stuff that they came out with and saying, oh, it's a games as a service, because not everyone's got time for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, with those always updated sort of games, there's only, like we said before, there's only so many that you can really play and get into.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you're kind of locked into them.
I mean, the only ones I really saw was like the costumes and stuff. I think they gave you a couple.
Yeah, there was all the usual, like, oh, if you... Yeah, I know in America they had specific... I think here they had an outfit tie-in with, like, Sky. If you had, like, Sky broadband or something, you could unlock special outfits.
So stupid.
It was Virgin Media one. I think it was Virgin Media.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then there was a drinks promotion somewhere else, and a certain store were doing a certain thing. And it's just kind of like, oh, fuck it, I can't be bothered. Sometimes when you see that kind of thing.
That's the thing, when they try to have their cake and eat it too, or I don't know sure what that means.
And it's not necessarily like you say that it's a bad game, it's just the way it's been marketed and done. Like the business model they use for it has been in its detriment.
Well, it never reviewed well though, did it? But because all the reviews said that all the characters feel exactly the same, just with some different moves.
I don't say they feel the same, but the moves would be same sort of buttons and stuff. Like if you're playing as Thor, you can unlock a move, where you jump up, press Y or hold Y, and then you'd fly down, with the hammer and, hit the floor and send everyone flying. Where you do the same as Iron Man, but he'd punch the floor and Hulk could punch the floor, things like that. So they are sort of the same character, but I suppose that's all you were going to get, really, weren't you? Because if you wanted a full-on one-person, they ain't going to be able to make 7 or 8 different games, are they?
No, true.
Play styles for everyone. Because that would have taken... I mean, that's like saying, play Battlefield. Well, why doesn't everyone walk differently and shoot differently? And, that's sort of what it is. But I just thought it was really enjoying and on Game Pass and for a tenner. And if you enjoy... like the Marvel movies and stuff like that, and just for the story, it's okay. I found it fun.
Well, that's fair enough. If long as you enjoyed it, mate, yeah, that's fair enough.
It's a good story. I mean, there's a couple of difficulty spikes, which you don't get as many of them these days as you used to years ago. Yeah. Where you think, oh, why isn't this working? But as soon as you get through that, then all of a sudden everything's easy again.
Yeah.
There's a few like big robots that for some reason you just can't them, and obviously once you sort of towards the end of the game, you don't just play as one character. There's another 2 in your party,
right?
They're helping you as well, like they're AI characters.
Okay,
just good, because I know you talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, so I thought, oh well, I better play Avengers.
Guardians was freaking awesome. So good.
I think that's.
I
they've
might
pretty
be
much.
talking about that later. That's why I
think
sort of went, because it's another Marvel game.
Yeah.
I think they learnt from their mistakes with this.
Yeah,
And
I think so
a
too.
better Marvel game, but maybe it's too late. I don't know. But that's what happens when you release a game broken, especially with social media. They
Yeah.
make everything seem 10 times worse than it actually is. I mean, because they were saying how Cyberpunk was the most broken game ever in the world, but you and a few other people I know played it said it was all right, weren't that broken. You see stuff on Twitter and Facebook, and then people just believe it, and then, like I say, they never really recover from it, do they?
No, that's it.
That's good. So, like I say, played through and beat that, and then I've gone on to Nintendo Switch. Played this about a year old. Was it Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was. I mean, this was originally I think it was a Wii U game, but they've added the Bowser's thing in. I
Yeah.
haven't played the Bowser's Furies bit, but I just basically played through the whole game co-op with one of my mates, Cybernator. I know, and because we played it through just co-op. The problem is we just kept dying all the time, mainly because we kept picking each other up and just throwing each other off the edge of the map and stuff like that. Which you got to do when you're playing co-op,
Yeah,
haven't you? You can't
yeah.
make it easy for yourself.
Yeah.
But
That's a
the only
great
thing I'd say
co-op game.
I don't know if it's a great co-op game.
I think it's good to couch co-op
Because
with your kids because it's just chaos and it's just
yeah,
good fun, you know?
the only thing I think is it struggles a bit multiplayer with like the map, not the map, the camera angles and stuff like that, because it's
Right.
trying to get both of you in at the same time, and you can both control the camera as well.
Oh, right. I've never noticed that.
And sometimes it zooms out. So if I wander off to the right,
Yeah.
and the person I'm playing with isn't there, then all of a sudden he'll sort of not die, but go into a little bubble and sort of zoom over and land next to, if you press A and stuff like that. Just some of the trickier levels. I think, I mean, because you've got it up on Twitch now, you're actually closer to the character than you would be in multiplayer.
Right. Oh, okay.
So for some of the trickier jumps, like a jump, a slide here, another jump, a quick jump, and then double jump, stuff like that, all within a few seconds of each other. That's a bit harder to player.
Right. Oh,
We
okay.
struggled a bit. But then we ran out of lives, which is not the end of the world. But there's an exploit in that which goes all the way back to the Wii U version, which I think is on the first level. You can basically get within about 10 seconds, about 30 seconds in the first level, you do a little glitch where you like bounce up and down on a green shell between a wall and a rock. You land on it, and you get points like 100 points, 200 points, 400 points,
Oh,
and
right.
every 1,000 points you get an extra life. I
Oh,
did
right.
that twice. Ended up with like 900 lives.
Excellent.
I thought, yeah, that and then I think we had 900 and something lives, and then when we finished the game, still had about 500 left. So I don't know if we could have done it without doing that. But it's normal Mario. If you've played a 3D Mario game, you know
Yeah.
where it is. It's a good little game. Like I say, I think if you were co-op and a couch co-op might be a bit easier than
Yeah.
online,
Yeah.
because Nintendo Online is terrible.
Yep.
It's probably one of the worst online experience. It took us about 20 minutes to actually get in a game.
Oh, bloody
It's
hell.
not like, don't just click your friend and say invite to game. You have to do all this weird stuff. You have to launch the game, go into a setting, find a setting, then click go online. Then I have to create whether it's a private or a public party, then type in a password. So then tell him the password so he could find me. I was like, oh. And also, it was at some points it was laggy as hell as well. It kept like,
Yeah, it's Nintendo, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
mean, we've played on Xbox, PlayStation Online before, and we've both got really decent internet. So it wasn't anything to do with the internet. It was just this game.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Nintendo games in general. But I'm trying to remember. I remember I enjoyed it because I was playing it co-op. I think I've only beat maybe 2 or 3 Mario games in total. I think Odyssey, this one. There was one on the 3DS as well.
Right. Yeah.
I think that was 3D Land or well, I can't remember which one that was. But the only thing really good is if you get really, really bad at the game, at the start it'll give you a. If you keep dying, it'll give you a little cat suit, like an infinite lives cat suit or something, or
Oh,
Tanuki.
right.
I can't remember.
Nub mode then.
Pretty much, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yep, we'll do that." I think we got stuck on the main boss as well, like Bowser, and there was a few like fights with him, which is fun, where he's in a car or a train or something, and you're sort of running behind him. He's chucking out like fireballs and stuff, so you dodge them, and then he chucks like other balls, and you have to kick him back at him like footballs,
Oh,
things like
okay.
that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's usual, and other bosses like jump on his head 3 times. That's done. But they also had these modes with you both made control of a Toad character,
Right.
and you basically had to collect all the is it the red stars, because to unlock all the levels you have to have so many red stars, and there's like 3 red stars hidden between each level, and some of the other levels like these Toad levels there's like 5,
Right, yeah.
and but it's like a puzzle. You have to go up here, down here, but the only thing difficult was, like I said, you have to control the camera. It's a
Mhm.
bit like, what was that game on Xbox where you controlled the like the world, and you could flip it round completely, and you could go up and I'm trying to think what that was. That
No
indie game.
idea.
I think what that was called. But it was similar to that sort of game, but that was just like the whole level. But
Right.
it's really fun. I mean, I don't know if they've finished, because there was a decent sale on 3DS, not 3DS, on the eShop just lately. They were
Right.
selling like most of the first party games for like 35 quid, and Shop 2 and places like that were matching it as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because Nintendo very rarely have anything on sale, do
I
they?
know, yeah, it's a pain in the
Mm.
ass.
So it's probably finished now, but yeah, it's all right. It's a good little Mario game.
Cool, man. Well, I'm
And
glad
after,
you're enjoying it.
well, I finished it.
Good, good.
To finish that, and then I played another Game Pass game, but it's a game I liked the look of last year when we did the E3 show, and I think you've played it as well, Webby. It's called Lake.
Oh, so good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Really enjoyed that.
it's just a little. I mean, so I didn't stream it. I just played it sort of off stream, just to relax and game, float around. I mean, because you used to be a postman, didn't you?
I was for a while, yeah.
I don't know if that brought back memories of that, but just stuff like that. It's a good little. The art style. It's kind of a Life is Strange sort of art style, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
See, it's a little bit clunky. Like when you get in and out of the van, it's like press A to get in the van. You press it. It's like she ain't getting in the van. So if you press it again and stuff like that, and there's a few like invisible walls and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of multiple endings and stuff like that.
There is. I think there's like 3 endings of my memory, because I did all the endings for the Chivos.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I guess.
I loved the game, dude. I absolutely loved it because the game's very relaxing, and then it's got a little story to it as to why you're there, and you got the little and the music and the characters you meet along the way, and because as you're going around, you do days at a time, but it's not like super loads of parcels and letters to post anyway, so they keep it at a decent amount so you're not bored out your mind.
Plus, it's not a time limit either, so it's not like you're on a time
Yeah,
limit to deliver
yeah,
the parcels.
yeah,
It's stressful. You could just float around and take
yeah,
ages, because I
yeah,
didn't notice until like. But there's also, I think you probably did it as well for an achievement where you get the camera, so you have to take pictures of stuff as
yeah,
well.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I've done a few pictures. I thought, I got bored of this now, because I haven't been as big like getting achievements stuff like that now. Whereas if I get to the end and I have a quick look, think, oh, actually, there's only about 4 achievements left, and I look, think, yeah, I can do them. But if I get to the end of a game and I've got like 100G, and I look at them and I'm like, nah, can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
That's a good look. And also, something I found absolutely brilliant, and I don't know how they got away with it or how someone hasn't had a go at them. Says, when you go into the video store,
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
where they've got the videos on the wall, they're just blatant rip-offs of actual movies. You've got like, and the
Yeah,
art
I know.
style is the same as the game. So instead of Blade Runner, it just says Blade Jogger.
Yeah,
Things like
yeah.
they've got like Ghost Poppers and things like that, and you've got Brunch Club instead of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
the picture is the same as what the cover was for the videos.
Brilliant.
So I
Yeah,
just thought, oh, that's really cool. And
yeah.
I think, oh, that's cool. And the ending I got was I went off the woman who owned the video shop. So I went off to be a lesbian in the RV van. So I thought that was the way to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Got to be done.
It's got to be done.
Yeah,
That's a good little game. I think
it
that's,
is
you know,
really
I was
good.
going to get it last year, and I think I'm on in the category now. Whereas I look at these games and I think, oh, I'll buy that. It's only 16 quid. It's got Game Pass written all over it, and I think I said that when it came out. This is going to go on to Game Pass.
I'm pretty sure this went on to Game Pass at launch, to be honest.
No, it came out in the summer, mate.
Did it? Oh, okay.
Like August. I think it was August, September. It's only recently came out in the last. I think it was the end of April. Came out on PlayStation, PS5, and there's got a physical release as well.
Right. Okay.
Physical on disc is 25 quid.
Wow.
Digitally is 16 quid.
Well, this is where Game Pass comes into its own. You know, there's so many games that I'd never have even bought and tried, and you know, you do find some nice little gems like this one on there. You know, and that's what makes it worthwhile to me.
Plus, I mean, a lot of people get grief because I think I've hearing a lot of podcasts, people talking saying how Game Pass is ruining developers because people aren't buying their games. I'm like, well, Xbox are paying them to have their game on Game Pass. You know, they've got money up front.
So it's away from reoccurring costs. Yeah,
it's just basically they're taking a big a chunk of money first, and plus people are playing their games. You know,
yeah.
Say if this company makes another game next year or something, I think, oh, I remember that game. That was really good. You might be more enticed to buy it then.
Yeah.
And some people, you know, some people have just got kids with Series S, and they're like, well, I'll pay for your Game Pass, play something on that.
Yeah,
that's all they get. Which is fair enough. I mean, I was probably the same as you, Webby, when I was little. You'd get a game or two for your birthday and a game or two for Christmas, and that's what we had all year, didn't we?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'd like to have I'd like to have Game Pass back then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'd make those games last. You know, goodness me.
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, cool, man. Again, I mean, that's why, like I say, Final Fantasy VII. I mean, we didn't have achievements back on PS1, did we, or nothing like that? But
didn't even have any fucking. There wasn't even any internet. It took me months to finish Final Fantasy VII. I had no guide or anything.
Well, I bought the guide in the end, but eventually. But like stuff like I'd go through the whole game, unlock everything, all the summons, all the bosses, level 100 for everyone, things like that, because it's the only game you had. You're like, Final Fantasy VII or Tekken 2, and that's what I had for like 9 months. So you think, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah. Cool. What else you played, dude?
So, that's good. And I know you love talking about Fortnite, so I've been playing more Fortnite.
Fucking hell! What is going on? What's going on with you lot and fucking Fortnite? You fucking weirdos. That's.
I'll tell you what it is. I'm playing a lot because it's cross-play and it's free. Basically, we're all playing, like talking in Discord or stuff like that. And it's basically no matter what anyone's got, everyone can play, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't even have to have Xbox Live or PS Plus to play that online as well.
Oh, I just don't. I just don't get it. What?
Plus,
okay, fair enough. If you're enjoying it,
it's fun. They did a Star Wars update as well, so you got all lightsabers and stuff like that, and the guns. I'd say it's just a fun little game.
Is the building still out of it as well at the minute as well?
Well, they've got no builds mode. I mean, they had that apparently years ago when it first came out. I think the building put a lot of people off.
Right.
You know, when I say a lot of people off, the other people would actually spend money on it. I think it put them off a little bit. Right. I don't know why they do, because they always used to do that in Warzone. They used to like add modes, and people used to really enjoy that. And 3 weeks later, they'd take it all out, and you think, well, now it's gone. I don't want to play.
With the live service model. you've made that, that's in the game. Just leave it in the game. Like, how hard is it just to leave that in the game? It's content. Why are you taking it away?
Yeah.
I think they're just doing it deliberately, so when they put it back, you come back, and then it's just a way of control, I think, and trying to get you to buy stuff. I mean, to be fair, I did spend some money on Fortnite.
Nick.
Let me finish. However, when I spent it, there was 2 weeks when they were giving all the money that they were getting from Fortnite to Ukraine. It's basically charity on it. So I thought, I'll buy some V-Bucks then. You can do it, but then that's one where it's if you complete Battle Pass, you get enough, V-Bucks to get the next one anyway.
Right.
So yeah, it's a good fun, mate. Webby, you're gonna
it's
play it.
It's for 12-year-olds, man. I can't believe you're playing it. I'm disappointed in you.
Get on it, Webby. You want
Never.
to. And recently, I've been playing. I mean, I suppose this is retro. PS3. I'm playing Black Ops 2.
Well, you are old school.
So I was playing with Macca and my mate, Macca, and my mate Liquid. We were trying to get that to work. I think it took us about 45 minutes to actually get it to work. Wow. Still got updates for the PS3.
Bloody hell.
It's just like a weird update, and it forced you to do this sort of special login thing. And actually, it didn't for me, because I think I've already done it. I think it's that that 2-step authentication thing. Actually brought up a QR code you could do on your phone, and I thought, I don't think QR codes existed when this came out in like 2007, did it?
It's weird because
that's the kind of thing that happens when you look at your console and you just think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, it's really
to play a game. What is this?
No, it's fucking bollocks.
Modern Warfare 3, so there's like updates for that, because you still don't have to pay to play PS3 online.
Right.
It's still free, like it was, back then.
Yeah.
So we tried to get Modern Warfare 3 to work, and we kept we're all in. How do I invite into a game? Which was a pain in the ass. You had to like hold a button, look on PlayStation.
So are people still playing this game on these older games online then?
I couldn't get Modern Warfare 3 to work. But then when we got
that, Webby, from what you played the other day.
Well, I'll be talking about that in a bit. But like these older CODs on these old systems, I'm surprised they're still alive, to be honest.
There's a lot of games that still have people playing them. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, you constantly heard, like, obviously during the kerfuffle for Battlefield, like loads of people going back. There's still people playing like the old like 1942 and that, no doubt.
Madness.
We finally got Black Ops 2 working, and obviously there's a lot of maps in that were in Cold War.
Right.
Like, you remember them.
Yeah.
But playing those with the old graphics, because we always seem to remember stuff looking better than it was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, it looks awful. It looks like I'm playing Cold War, but I've just like smeared Vaseline all over my eyes.
You know what's really weird? Because I've been online today looking at my friends list and stuff, and I've seen quite a few people are playing Vanguard now. I don't know why. I don't know why this certain.
Did it go on sale all of a sudden?
Well, the gold edition
just comes up as Vanguard for the Warzone, possibly.
No, it doesn't. It comes up as Modern Warfare for Warzone on the Xbox. Right. I have noticed it that the gold edition of Vanguard is on sale for 50 quid, and that is normally 100 quid. So it might be that. I don't know.
Give them £10 for it.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know why it seems to. I've suddenly seen people on my friends is playing it, because I don't think it sold that well, and it didn't review very well. So yeah, it's a bit odd.
Oh, it sold decently. I think it was the biggest selling game of last year still.
Okay, I thought it was like the worst selling COD since like 2007 or something.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I just obviously because there's other.
I think 20% of COD sales, like the normal sales, will still be the biggest selling game of the year.
Yeah, true.
You've got COD and then FIFA, and then everything else is like sells 5 to 10% of what they sell.
Yeah, but what's it going to be? It's not going to be FIFA anymore because EA have lost the FIFA name in the license. It
will be this year.
Okay, so after that, what are they going to call it? EA Soccer or something like that?
Something like EA something FC or something, isn't it? Or is it EA Sport FC?
Is it still going to have
EA
all the
Sport
teams and the
FC.
players
Something really
though?
stupid.
Or is it going to be like Pro Evo with all like the fake teams and
Man
fake
Red,
names? Yeah,
Man
yeah,
Blue,
yeah. 'Cause that would be quite interesting.
London.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
what
we
else you
played
played,
that.
Nick? Anyway.
So we finished that. We couldn't actually get into a multiplayer game online.
Mhm.
It said there was 600 people playing online, but
Right.
all playing team deathmatch. But
Yeah.
for some, because two of us were in the UK and one of us was in America.
Right.
Plus, so I don't know if it was something to do with that. Like we all got into a party. We clicked like find a match, and all of a sudden someone got kicked. Stuff like that. So we just played private matches, and
Mhm.
we actually had a lot of fun playing that, because that reminded me of, like, we used to play couch online, like GoldenEye 64
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And around us, me and Mac are running around, like shooting each other, and he's like, "Oh, like shouting and swearing and stuff like that." That just might, I actually had more fun playing that for like an hour than I
Yeah.
probably had for playing all COD multiplayers probably the last 5-10 years.
Fair dues. What else you played, dude?
So I tried Apex. 'cause
Apex
I'm playing all
Legends.
and I played like 3 games and I uninstalled it because it's crap.
Fair enough. Oh,
Not for
down.
you then.
It's just too twitchy, and the guns all shake everywhere, and it just, you have to land, find all your guns, but then you have to go through all different coloured ammo for what guns you've got, and you don't just walk over them and pick them up. You've got to sit there and hold X to pick it up. And I've noticed this, playing Black Ops to newer games like that.
Yeah.
The newer ones, there's just so much stuff going on screen. So many, like lights, the better textures and stuff like that. Sometimes you can actually see a character like 20 foot in front of you. He's standing and you can't actually see him because there's just so much stuff going
Yeah, I
on.
understand that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I say, the older blocks too, like they've still got the maps now. You can actually see, you can see the person straight away. They sort of stand out in front of where you're going. Whereas these games, they just blend into the
Yeah,
background.
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, nah. And then they were like, "Oh, if you buy this and buy that, now," so I deleted that.
Oh, fair enough.
And that's me done.
Wow, that was quite a lot actually.
It's been like a month. If not, if you'd have been there, I'd have had like one game to talk about.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. So what about you, Darren?
Yeah, played quite a few games since I was last on.
Cool.
I completed and platinumed Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, excellent. I haven't actually played that
It's a
since I
pretty
got
easy
back.
platinum, to be honest. It just involves you doing all of the busy work that's in the game.
Oh, fair enough.
Really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's that long, to be honest. It's not like a hugely long game, but that sometimes is good because it sort of doesn't outstay its welcome. But the parts of it that it does good, you wish it did that more, if that makes sense. So there's parts of the game where like your perspective's played with, as well as obviously the sort of allure of like having a sort of city mapped out.
Yeah, I mean it's got a really good story from what I played, the first few chapters anyway.
The story's probably the weakest part. But it does a pretty damn good way of sort of setting an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And like I say, one of the only things I did not like, which I mentioned, was the Tengus. The noise is too loud.
Oh yeah, the flying ghosty things, aren't
the
they?
squawk.
Yeah.
It just gets annoying, and it kind of ruins the ambience of everything else around you.
Right. Yeah.
I suppose it does add a little bit of freakiness, but there's been a recent update to it, so I don't know whether things like that address those issues.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, really good. Probably, definitely one of my favourite games of the year so far.
Excellent. Oh, that's a really good recommendation then. Get back to that.
But I'm into all of that kind of folklore and Japanese sort of stuff. So it's just like it's really good at that, what it does.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah, where else do I begin? Oh, I'll mention while I'm on the PlayStation stuff. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Okay,
I
go on then.
downloaded and gave a go when it came out. It's a free to play
Free to
game
play
set
one.
in set in the Vampire Masquerade universe, and it's basically a battle royale, but it's only something like 46 player.
Yeah.
So it's not like the usual 100 players, and the shrinking map location is Prague. So it's like a sort of like nighttime Prague. So the setting's decent and interesting. And there's parts of the game that kind of grab my attention. Like you can go into shops and like steal armor and weapons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And there's varying vampire clans. Each character sort of like selection has two different abilities.
Yeah.
They're not like sort of overpowered, so you'll have like one class that can fire out like a sonar pulse to a zone, which will alert you if someone goes into that area, or another one's got like a giant leap, so you can leap. But it's literally all about the sort of like the movement, the momentum. You can literally run up the sides of walls
Yeah.
because you're obviously all vampires. You've got NPCs dotting around the world as well,
Yeah, and you
that you
can.
can suck on to
Yeah.
power up
Yeah.
certain attributes. But if you do that while there's another NPC present in the line of sight, they will freak out, and then after a certain amount of time, everyone on the map will know where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you finding it though, Dan? Because I actually played this in early access ages ago,
Mm.
and I didn't really think much of it.
Yeah,
Perhaps it's
visually,
improved.
visually, I think it's pretty nice. Like it's definitely a game that the visual aspect of it sort of like caught my eye. Where I just
Yeah.
thought, yeah, that's an interesting location, interesting idea. It's
Yeah.
free, so I'll download it and test it out.
Yeah.
I'm sort of on and off. I played quite a bit of it when it first came out, and I've sort of tailed off a little bit now. And I just
Yeah.
play it when my mates come on,
Yeah.
like in
Okay.
trios, or they've added duos now as well.
Is it crossplay between
Uh,
PC and PlayStation?
It's crossplay between PlayStation and PC, yeah. Like you
Well,
could,
why
there's
has this
an
not come to
option. I think
Xbox?
I don't know. I can imagine they'd want it to eventually. This might be one of those sort of like timed things. But for a free to play, it's like, come on, if it's a free to play and it's on the PC and that as well, you've just put it on everything really. If
Well,
it's at that point,
this is becoming a little bit of a common
because it'll
occurrence. I've
populate
noticed.
servers and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that a lot of these games are coming to PC and PlayStation only, which is really really odd. I don't know what's going on there. It just seems that
I
Xbox
mean,
is lacking a lot of
this was a
games.
PC game originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like you
yeah,
said, there was a beta about a couple of months back.
yeah.
And people played it. But
But
yeah,
it's like the
I've won a.
as I say, it's like the Evil Dead game that came out this week. That's PC and PlayStation only as well, and that again, that's crossplay. But it's
No, I'm
only on.
sure that's on Xbox.
I don't think it is, or is it on Xbox? Am I making things up now?
I'm sure it's on Xbox.
Oh, okay. I'll double check
I think
that.
this is PS5 only. I don't think you get it on PS4.
Yeah, it's PS5 only. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah, Blood Hunt is PS5 only.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's definitely worth checking out if you want an interesting sort of take on the battle royale sort of style of running
yeah.
around
Okay.
picking stuff up. You can sense like with like a vision pulse like the locations of where objects are stashed. It doesn't obviously show you what they are, but if you see obviously a gold glow in that area, you know there's like a legendary item in
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I've won games. I've won sort of like trios. Um, and then I've also spent a lot of time getting shot in the back, which is the usual classic for a battle royale game in my experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's equal enjoyment, equal parts frustration, depending. But it was easy enough to sort of jump in and out of games. And when you're playing solos, you do get one revive,
Okay.
so it's not like you're straight out. And I think the reason for that is it's only 46 player in the
Yeah.
matches.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're in trios, if you're out, you're out until your teammate gets to a certain area, and then he can resurrect you.
Yeah.
Similar to like how they do it, obviously, in quite a few of the games of that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I will get Final Fantasy out of the way because I believe the patch came out just before you went away. I think it was the week you went away.
Right. I haven't
So
resubbed
it
yet.
obviously adds, it shows you where the story's kind of going from obviously the end of the big event
Yeah.
that you just went through, and it's done really well.
Excellent. Good to
I've
hear.
got pretty good confidence that it's going to be just as good going forward, and they're not going to tail off. They kind of got the ball by the cock by the balls, or whatever the fuck the
All
saying
by the
is.
horns. Yeah.
On that's it. Yeah, that's the one.
Excellent. Good to
And
hear.
the new raid is a lot of fun and very well done in a regard.
Okay.
I
I
don't
might
really want to
resub it.
spoil it, but that's there
Yeah.
waiting for you. Well, if you wait a while, there's going to be a few other things added, so you don't have to jump in straight
No,
away. I
I've
mean,
got
that's the
some
beauty
other
of that
stuff to
game. You
do
not always
first,
have
but
to be kept
yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
But yeah,
Excellent.
there's going to be another update soon that adds like the Beast Tribe stuff and
Cool.
whatnot.
Cool.
What else? Right. Oh, right. We'll move over to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Oh yeah, have you been playing that single player or co-op?
I've finished it. Yeah, I've finished it.
Oh, in single player.
Finished that as well. Yeah, just played for it in single player. Didn't really
Oh,
sort of
okay.
like bother with co-op or anything. And no one else I knew really picked it up, as far
Yeah,
as I'm aware,
yeah.
as well. It's a decent enough game. I'd say it doesn't feel as content rich as Borderlands 3 did, per se. Like when you finish the main storyline of the game, which is okay, I guess. It's Borderlands fare. It's
Yeah.
sort of humour and stuff aimed at sort of like early 20s people on Twitter.
Okay.
When you finish the game, you unlock these sort of like endless dungeon, which basically during the game as you play through it on the open board part,
Right.
you'll go into these things called encounters, and it just puts you into a zone, and then you get random waves of enemies attacking you.
Right.
The end game is basically that, but you can change difficulty and have modifiers and all of this bits and bobs, but there's no story or anything to it. And I was doing like the Chaos Chambers or whatever it's called. I can't remember the exact name for them, but it's literally just the point where there's no story, and it is you're just kind of fighting harder enemies for higher drops, so you can do higher enemies. There doesn't seem to there's no real goal, so it's just like right. So I'm advancing my power level, and everything else is getting harder to advance my power level again. But there's no reason for me to actually do that, so I've kind of just dropped it for the moment.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But
Okay.
it was
Yeah,
fun.
looks all
It
right.
was
Yeah.
fun enough little take on it, I suppose. I liked using the weapons that were kind of more suited for the game.
Yeah.
So, like the pistols that are like a single-handed crossbow, or
Oh, that's a
the
good
sort of
idea.
like assault rifles that are like crossbows and stuff, and
Right.
using the magics and that rather than there are the classic guns in there that just fire bullets and stuff, but I did try and mix it up and have some of the old school stuff and the melee weapons. I think there's a really good legendary you can get, in my opinion anyway. It's like a frying pan melee weapon.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
But one
funny.
of the perks on it is whilst it's on your back and you're not using it, you get 90% bullet resistance from behind.
Right.
So
That's
it's
fucking
almost like, wow, you've actually put something in that's like a shield that works as a shield. Would.
Nice. Excellent.
Right, just seeing what else there was. Valhalla still playing. Fantasy Star Online 2 is having a year anniversary at the moment.
Okay. Is anyone still
I dipped
playing
into
it?
that. There's loads of people playing it. Like when I logged in the other day, I was like, what the hell is going on here? There's like music playing in like the sort of town city bit you're starting. And there was like loads of people all about dancing and doing stuff.
Okay.
And it was like it's some anniversary. You can sort of like go in and do extra little challenges to earn extra, the usual sort of like event of rewards.
Yeah.
There's like some pretty good new ones there for a newbie. Like I think there was like a shield with like 60 defense, which is
Right.
fairly decent, and it had a load of perks and stuff on it, and you get that with like event points.
Cool, man.
But yeah, on to right. Yeah, let's go there then. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. Have you finished it?
This is a fucking awesome game. Like I
Yes.
have to say that. Like we were so bad for. I feel so bad about us sitting in chat and going, "What the fuck is this? This doesn't look great. I'm bored." You know what I mean? When they did that 20-minute presentation on it,
Yeah, I
Show
remember.
us the same 10 minutes
and
over and
yeah,
over again, though.
yeah, basically, and then it goes on and on and on. Now I like the Guardians of the Galaxy films a fair bit,
Yeah.
and I think this game is better than the films.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my
Yeah.
opinion, like some of the characters in this, I enjoyed more than I enjoyed those characters in the films.
Yeah.
Like they have done such a good job of nailing like those characters down with their obviously like their personalities and such,
Yeah.
and mixing it into a story that does end up in some pretty fantastical sort of thing. Have you finished it, Webby, or are you still
Yeah. I
part way?
finished it. I finished it just before I left to go on holiday. It's one of the like, I wanted to get it done before I went
Ah,
away, and I'm so glad I did because you know the game starts off. I feel it starts off quite slow, but then it picks up really, really well, and I just got so hooked. Not just on the story, even though the story is absolutely fantastic in its own right, but just I enjoyed the gameplay, the locations, the way you can control the other characters by setting off all their special moves when you're in the battles.
mm,
Just the way it's all designed and the music as well. It all comes together so well. It's such a fantastic
all of that
experience.
80s. Like I chuckled from the start because it starts off like as soon as that started,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this I can see why people were saying like, no, this is a good game because obviously when you start it, you start off, you're in your room
yeah,
and you can
yeah,
move around, and it starts to give you that kind of like, no, this has got like a little bit of Naughty Dog in here, like the way they used to tell the stories with like the interactive moving around and stuff at the start. And you're
yeah,
sort of looking around, and there's so many little 80s references
yeah.
around in that part. Like there's even a choose your own adventure like Steve Jackson in Livingston book. Is it Death Trap Dungeon?
I don't think so. I'm
You
not.
see in
I'm not.
there, and
No.
there's like, yeah, it was on the shelf in the room,
Yeah.
and yeah, like Chewbacca toy, like the exact
Yeah,
one from
yeah,
the
true.
80s and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's sort of becoming part of the story in a way.
Yeah,
Keeps sort of popping up and that. But again, it shows to me how well you can do a game that isn't open world
yeah,
because
100%. Yeah.
you go through some long old sort of like sections. The game's pretty long. Like I'd say it's about 20 plus hours,
Oh, yeah, it's a really long game. It really is, but it's
but it's
so good.
it's paced pretty well that you can do it sort of like a chapter at a time.
Yeah, that's how I was kind of doing it. Yeah,
And it sort of moves through like multiple stories sort of happen as you obviously sort of going through, and the banter between the characters is superb and
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
There's
It
some
really is.
pretty emotional moments as well, giving them a lot more character
Yeah, yeah. Really
with each
agree.
of them. The game's got no microtransactions whatsoever, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
And all the costumes and things like that, you just unlock through playing through the game and searching for them in the levels.
yeah, yeah. That's it, man. Yeah, it's
The
really well
only
done.
downsides, oh, there's two downsides I've had. I had a couple of moments where um, the game kind of glitched out and I couldn't proceed.
All right.
I'll just say there's a part in the game where you've got to walk towards the camera with a load of people, and then it
Yeah,
sort of interacts with people as you come
yeah,
towards.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
glitched out on me about 6 times.
Really? Oh,
Where I was
weird.
walking down, it just stops, and then you can't move any further, and everyone's just stood there.
Oh,
And you
bizarre.
just reload the tune. In the end, I had to shut the whole game down and reboot it to be able to proceed because that was right, sort of like late in the game
Yeah,
as
I know
well. I was like,
exactly where
come on.
you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only other downside is two achievements have glitched on it.
Oh, okay.
The one for picking someone up
Right.
or like reviving a downed ally. I've picked them up by hand, and I've used someone's ability to pick up people that are sort of unconscious or out of action.
Yeah.
It hasn't popped. And the other thing I noticed was I was going through, I was a secret achievement missing, and as far as I know, every secret achievement in the game is a story spoiler one,
Right. Oh, okay.
pretty much. And I was like, right, and I looked, and I was like, ah, yes, one of the chapter completions. It hasn't pinged it,
Right.
even
Oh,
though the
okay.
ones past it have.
That's so
It's like, oh,
weird.
it's annoying. I mean, I'm tempted to do a new game plus because I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it is great. I wouldn't want to play it again. It's too
apparently, yeah,
fucking long.
when you do a new game plus, you apparently get the option to turn on like a translation for Groot,
Oh,
so you
that's
actually
cool.
know what
Yeah.
he's saying.
That's awesome, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Nice.
I'm just thinking back to, and I generally had laugh out loud moments playing that
Yeah,
game
I did as well. Absolutely. The
a
characters are so
few
well
times.
done and they're really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic game. Have you played this, Nick, or have you not played it yet?
I want to, and
Oh,
also it's
you'll
on
love it.
Game
I
Pass
think you'll
now.
love it.
But
Yeah,
I will love it.
it
I
is
know
on
I
Game
will,
Pass,
but
I
as
believe.
because of the music and because I don't get much time to play games unless I stream them, because there's not that often. The music would get me banned, and it has got people banned. There is a
Yeah,
mode in there where you can streamer mode, so they
yeah, I
just put
know.
generic music,
I think
but
it just plays like a band songs that they added, sort of a
just
thing. But it is
generic.
annoying because there's some classic songs.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I think
I
the
think
music makes the
Guardians.
game. Yeah.
It made the films as well, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all just a nostalgia trip. So
Yeah.
if I do, I think I'd have to just play it offline
Yeah.
because it's just not.
Yeah, I would,
I,
because there's even a scene with like, do you remember "Don't Worry, Be
Yeah.
Happy Now"? You've, like, that's playing while you're solving this weird puzzle
Yeah.
with this other character that's kind of becomes quite amusing as it goes. It touches on, if you're obviously fan of the comics and stuff in general, you've probably bought this and played it already. But it does cover a lot more characters and stuff than I expected it would.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Right, shall we move on to another game?
Yes, let's. Right, and the last game I'll probably talk about is
Do.
something called Chernobylite.
Oh, you picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, this game's awesome,
I
man.
wasn't too aware of it until I stumbled across like a random video on YouTube that someone had put up where it was like, kind of like,
You've not heard me talking
what's
about it then?
Chernobyl like on PS? Yeah, because it re-released recently on the Xbox Series X and
Yeah, they
the
did a
PS5, like
yeah,
with like updates with like increased res and the usual bells and whistles
yeah,
kind of thing. And it looked interesting, and I thought that looks like it'd be quite freaky and atmospheric. I could really do with a nice, involving, freaky and atmospheric game, and yeah, it is so far.
yeah.
But
It's.
yeah, carry on.
I was
You've
just going to
probably played
say.
this a while back because it's an oldish game.
It's. Oh, I mean, I've got this when it was still in early access on Steam. So I've played it a little. I've not finished it actually. I played it a little bit in early access and a little bit when it launched on PC, and then they've done this enhanced edition, which I got for free because I bought the game initially. And it's a game that I want to get back into. I want to start playing it again because it's got quite a lot of cool elements. You know, it reminds me a little bit like Metro in a weird way. You know, it's set in Chernobyl, but it's got the freaky stuff and it's got like some base building stuff in it as well, which is quite cool. So it's got quite a bit of a
A
mishmash
lot
of
more than what I was
things.
expecting.
What of the base stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I heard that it was a survival horror
yeah,
or like a survival sort of game, and didn't really think it was going to have that kind of aspect to it, but it
yeah,
was like a welcome bonus.
yeah,
Because you progress through the game a bit at the start, and then you get somewhere which is basically your home base,
yeah. That's right.
and then you can kit it out using resources that you pick up when you're on your missions and stuff,
that's
or
right.
venturing out.
Yeah.
And from that base, you can basically send yourself and your companions out on like fetch quests, basically timed fetch quest missions, which does show at the moment that the game isn't like truly open world. It's kind of, it gives you like 5 or 6 zones.
Yeah.
But they're fairly large.
Yeah.
That you get different missions in, and you'll basically go out on these missions, and you might be tasked with, say, recovering like a supply drop for the troops that are stationed there from the other faction. Because obviously all of these resources you're going to need yourself, because obviously at the end of every day you need to hand out rations to people, make sure they've got comfortable places to sleep, or it affects their morale. So they don't perform as well on missions. They can come back from missions injured, which means they have to rest, etc. But it's mixed with all this sort of like weird sort of like, I wouldn't say it's horror, it's more sort of like mystery. It reminds me in a way a little bit of Singularity. It has that kind of Singularity.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm playing it in Russian as well.
Oh wow, cool.
In Russian with the subtitles or whatnot. But yeah, it's a decent game for the price. I mean, was it like £25? I think it is for physical. I think that it's about the same, or maybe a bit less for the digital version of it.
Yeah.
But it seems to be kind of fun. It's got some pretty mysterious, weird stuff. There's, when you go back to revisit areas you've already been to, there's different things there, and obviously it sort of gets weirder as you progress through the days.
Yeah.
You're trying to sort of put the team together and collect clues to do this final mission in a certain area.
Yeah. So it's good, and I think it's gone under a lot of people's radar, and I've tried to pimp it out a few times, and I'm glad you've picked it up, man. And you've probably actually played it more than me now. I will get back onto it this week, so I can talk about it next week. Actually, now you've reminded me about it.
Yes.
Cool, man. Is that it?
I think that might as well be it for now. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. Like, because we played quite a bit after you went away.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, I've played more games than what I'm going to talk about tonight. I don't want to ramble on about. Well, I've got quite a few now, but I don't want to ramble on about all the other ones. I'll talk about them another time. But yeah. So I've been in a bit of a weird kind of gaming mood, especially since I got back from holiday. But while I was on holiday, I ended up, because I took my gaming laptop with me. I ended up playing quite a bit of Rocket League. I just got, it's one of those games. I know it's quite old now, but I feel like it never gets old. You know, I just always find it a lot of fun. You know, I like to do the casual 3 versus 3 mode. Car football, man. I mean, well, what else can you say about it? It's just, when I'm playing it, I get really into it. You know, I'll end up like, like when you're playing a football game and you get quite angry when people like mess up, or when you start losing. Like, I get really into it like that. I get really angry at times, and like, come on, and I'm like, one more game, you know. And yeah, I spent a little bit of money on it, and I bought the F1 pack, so I've got the Red Bull F1 car. I'm using that. I normally flip between that and the DeLorean, because the cool thing about the DeLorean is they don't, you can't buy it anymore. So, you know, unless you bought it when it came out years ago in the game, you're not going to have it. So it's a very rare car to have. But yeah, I just love Rocket League. I've been playing it on my gaming laptop while I was in Australia. I've also been playing it a little bit since I got home. So yeah, I'm loving it. And also what I like about it is you can flip between different devices. So PC, Switch. I played it on PC, Switch, and Xbox. And your saves, your save, your progress, and all your unlocks for your cars transfer between all the different devices as well, which is really cool. So
That is
Yeah.
good, yeah. To have.
Yeah. It's you know, it's a really, really good game to play. You know, just if you've got a little bit of time or just you don't really want to be thinking about much, it's you know, really, really good. Okay, so just sticking to PC for the moment before I move on to Xbox. Been playing a little bit more of Battlefield 2042 since I come back off holiday. Played it for a few hours yesterday. It's I'm still enjoying it, but it's still it's still not perfect in my opinion. You know, it's still got some performance issues on the PC. Not glaring, but there's still some there. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but it's just I don't know. It just as I say, this feels like there's still something missing, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It just doesn't feel like the Battlefields of old, which is really really frustrating. But I'm still going to carry on trying to play it every now and again, just because it's Battlefield and I've bought the game. So yeah, and just try and carry on with that as I can. Played a little bit of Halo Infinite today. This game, man, like it fucking depresses me.
It's just the lack of support, I think, that's annoyed people the most.
As I was trying to find the words, and I think you've summed it up perfectly there, Darren. It's it's a live service game, right? So it's free. You don't, it's a free to play game. The multiplayer for console and PC. It's cross play. It's been out for like over half a year now, and live service games are meant to be constantly updated, new maps, new game modes, blah blah blah. This has had 2 new maps and a new game mode in this new season, and the new maps are, in my opinion, dog shit, and the new Last Guardian standing mode is just a bit meh. So yeah, I can see why people have fallen off it, and it's just such a shame because when it launched, I thought it was great, and it was great when it launched because it was fresh. Had all the new maps, and we thought, well, it's live service, going to be constantly adding stuff, and it's free for free all over. They just constantly disappoint, and it's just a shame to see. One of the greatest FPS franchises in history has gone down the pan. So yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating, really. So there's that. So going on to another FP. Let me just. I want to move on from system to system. So, just talking about PC. Just very briefly again. I picked up a board game to play with Wes and Frosty and whoever else wants to play it. It's a game called Demio. Now, it was initially just for VR, but they launched a
Demo.
Demio.
Is it Demio or Demo?
Well, I'll just call it Demio.
I know there was one called Demo that came out on. It was PSVR possibly, unless I'm getting confused with something else entirely.
Well, it's a board game, right? And basically it's like Dungeons and Dragons, yeah. So you got so you got 5 characters that you can choose between, like your wizard and your archer and your thief and your warrior, etc. Right? And it's online, so you can have 4-player co-op online. You can play it single player as well. But you can have to 4-player co-op online, so it's a co-op board game. You choose your characters and you go along the board and you roll your dice and you fight your enemies and you have different magic spells and stuff like that. So it's basically set up where you're on this board game and you've got to get through like 3 different levels of the board, and then you've got to get to the final boss. And it's really difficult, but it's a lot of fun. It's just nice to have something different because there's not really many games like this I can think of that are actual like proper board games that you can play online with your friends, and they're the co-op board games, yeah. And you know, I'm really liking it. I would like to see this come to console. I think this would fit great on a console, to be honest. You know, but yeah, I've been playing that. You know, with the other guys, I've been playing it in VR. I've obviously been playing it on the tabletop version. And it's you know, it's really cool, man. You know, it's you know, you move across the board and you get you know, so you get 2 turns per character. So you know, you can either move your character and certain amount of squares on the board, or you can do your melee attacks, or you collect cards as well, and they give you like different magic abilities to do like area damage and stuff like that. Yeah, man, it's a really cool game, and you know, I've been waiting for this to come out, as I'm just you know, like for normal flat, like for normal screens for ages, because I do like a good board game every now and again, and this is kind of scratching that itch at the minute. It's a lot of fun. I played with Wes while I was away in Australia. We had a session for a couple of hours, and we had a lot of fun on it. So yeah, man, it's a great game. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so moving on to Xbox. I've been playing quite a lot of Xbox since I got home from Australia, and the main reason for that is the wife and kids are still in Australia until the first week of June. So I've got the house to myself, so I'm living the life of a bachelor, just living off takeaways and gaming to my heart's content. So, you know, I'm normally confined to upstairs on my PC, because during the day the kids have got the telly for their children's TV, and then in the evening the missus has got the telly, so I don't get a look in on the Xbox. So I'm really taking advantage of it while they're not here.
Why not?
So literally my PC is taking a back burner, and I'm like, right, I'm going to play my Xbox, because my PlayStation's upstairs next to the PC. But I've been playing a lot of Xbox, and I will talk about, just remind me after this to talk about one PlayStation game I played, because I didn't write it down. I've been playing my Xbox a lot, which has been really cool, and I've got such a big library of games on there. And I was like, oh my goodness, what the hell? So I've been trying to just enjoy the system. So first of all, I want to talk about is BioShock Infinite, one of my favourite games on the Xbox 360. Obviously they did a remaster of it on the for this series, well, for the Xbox One, didn't they? So I bought the collection, you know, the BioShock 1, 2 and 3 collection. Yeah. And obviously 1 and 2 I just couldn't be fucked to play at this moment, because Infinite was probably at the time my favourite BioShock game, to be honest with you. Yeah, it really was.
Sacrilege.
I know.
The original's so good.
Like, I know the original too. I mean,
very good, unique atmospheres to them. Like,
yeah, I mean, all of the BioShocks I think are amazing games. I'm not going to take that away from them at all. Definitely not. However, BioShock Infinite, when I played it, you know, it just I just absolutely loved it. I even bought the statue of the bird. You know, that's
bird or whatever.
Yeah. So last night I just sat on the sofa in my pants, just loving life, playing some BioShock Infinite remaster on the Xbox. I pumped a good few hours into it, and you know what? It holds up really well. You know, for an Xbox 360 game, I mean, obviously all they've done is HD it up, right? It looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, obviously it doesn't look as good as like a game that's come out this year, but it still looks really good in my opinion. And it's just, I feel like they don't really make games like this anymore. It's just so full of atmosphere. Like, like when you start off, you're walking through, and one of my favorite sections of the game when I originally played it, and it still was like. You first get into the city in the sky, and you're walking around. You got all the shops you can go into, and you hear everyone talking and stuff. And then this barbershop quartet comes floating down on one of these floaty things, and they sing a whole song. And I just stood there and watched it, and it was just so cool. So there's all this stuff going on, and it's just, it has that kind of like 1940s or whatever like era. Everything, like all the clothing, all the music, all the signage, everything's just has a really good feel to it, if that makes sense. And I know that's echoed through the first two Bioshocks as well, right? But I just love that feel. And I've already I think I've already played through the first two games twice anyway, and this one I've only played through once. I wanted to go through it again just because it's been so long since I've played it. And I just, I could have pumped a good few hours into it. I just had a big smile on my face the whole time I was playing it. Just so much fun. Like, and the only thing that does let it down is obviously the shooting mechanics are just a bit loose. Because you've got magic as well. It's not really magic. It's like the Bioshock. The other Bioshock games. You drink the liquids.
They're tonics, aren't they?
Yeah, the tonics. Yeah, so it's So those powers are binded to the left trigger. So the only way to aim down your sight is to click in the right thumbstick. So it's just getting used to those kind of controls again. But yeah, I mean, Bioshock Infinite is such an amazing experience, and yeah, absolutely love going playing some more of that again. So I'm going to be taking advantage of my Xbox and carrying on through
See,
that.
this is what meant a lot. I was actually thinking the other day about this, like when it comes to obviously the atmospheric games with a friend, and they're the ones that usually stick with you the most.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
every now and again, like when I feel like when people obviously talk about like games from last year and stuff, every now and again someone will be like, "Oh, Resi 8," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and then I remember how good I felt like playing that game.
Yeah.
Like again, it's another game that brings back like just a really well done atmospheric,
yeah,
messed up kind of thing where you explore some pretty interesting and cool environments.
Yeah, 100%. But with Bioshock Infinite, they do touch on a lot of different themes as well, which I kind of I'd completely forgotten about. Because it is set. It's meant to be set in kind of a bygone era. And one of the things that stuck to me, like when I was playing through like the beginning first hour, you got to make some choices, and one of them is there's this couple, a white dude and a black girl, and they're like wanting you to throw tomatoes at them because it's a mixed race couple, and it's frowned upon.
How stupid they used to be back then, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's just kind of like it does throw some themes at you as well, which I kind of forgotten about in the game, and I just thought it was quite interesting that that's in there, and they're just trying to give you a real sense of that era, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's just so well done, man. I absolutely love it. In my opinion, it's a masterpiece of a game. It really, really is, and definitely worth it. If you've never played Bioshock Infinite, freaking play it. It is
if you've never played any of the
damn
Bioshocks,
good. Play all three in order. Do it now. Yeah.
They always go on sale for like £8 on Xbox, PlayStation.
Yeah,
right? It's on Switch as well.
And that's for the trilogy. That's for the whole trilogy, like a tenner.
The remastered trilogy is definitely worth that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to talk about someone else now that is, I'm going into Nicky territory now with old games. I went on to my Xbox. I was on my Xbox last night. And I was like, you know what? I miss the old 360 era. I'm going to play Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 and see if the multiplayer is still alive. And guess what? It is. It is alive and kicking. I was gobsmacked. This game is 15 years old. Oh, it makes me feel so old. I loaded it up on my Series X and I searched for a multiplayer game, and within a minute I was in a lobby with people and they're all chatting away in game chat. You know, and it's just really weird because it loads up like the old Xbox 360 kind of logos, and you press the start and select button together on the controller and it brings up the old Xbox 360 dashboard. So weird. Feels very retro. Anyway, so onto Graw 2 in a lobby, a full lobby, 16 player lobby, playing team deathmatch, and I was so shit, but I had so much fun because, like, this, in my opinion, is what is probably the best Ghost Recon game ever made, and it has a lot of features that we don't see in games even now. Yeah, and these are features that I think.
Oh, the multiplayer were crazy. Like the multiplayer stuff you could do with that game. The amount of maps you had. The size of the maps was good
so it
as
had
well.
like
the game modes.
Yeah, top of my head, I had over 60 multiplayer maps, which is insane. But the main thing for me is what I really love about it on a tactical sense is in the top left-hand corner of the screen, there's a little camera. And you can switch between, or there's a little screen, and you can switch between the cameras on all your teammates, which is insane. I haven't seen that in any other game since then. Yeah, so you can if me and Darren were playing, I could switch to his body cam, his helmet cam, and I could watch what he is doing in the game on the map while I'm playing as well, and it just makes for really good coordination. Also, I remember on some of the game modes, you could have a drone as well. You put the drone in the air, and anyone can tap into it and see the drone's feed, which is absolutely fantastic as well. And the whole control scheme, I really love about Graw 2, because like you hold down the left trigger and it does it in like a half kind of zoom mode. Do you remember that? Yeah,
No, but you just reminded me. I was just laughing because there was one thing in that game that was a bit shit, but it was the
graphics.
So many laughs. No, the grenades, throwing grenades.
Yeah, they were.
Like you had to kind of, didn't you have to angle it and then hold down the button for a certain amount of time? But I don't know if there was actually a bar to even gauge. It was like a guess.
It's a guess.
The amount of times people used to just throw them and they'd bounce off a tree right back into their face.
Yeah. Yeah, so but as I say, like the aiming mode I like because left trigger is like a half zoom mode, and then you click in the right thumbstick for like a looking down your sight, and I really liked that kind of way of aiming and shooting. But it was really, really cool because I went into game chat and everyone was really friendly, and we all just had a good laugh in there. I just said, look, I haven't played the game for donkeys. They said, oh, don't worry about it, we're here to have fun. It's nice to see people playing it still, blah, blah, blah. And, I had a really good time on it. So, it goes to show this game's 15 years old on Xbox and people are still playing it on Xbox now. It is nuts that the game is still
that's kicking. The thing. You'll get some people that'll be like, oh, I'm really surprised. Like, how are people, I didn't know people still play that. And it's like, yeah, they still play it because you can still play it.
Yeah, and
most
it's a great game.
You can still play, like people will play them.
Yeah, 100%.
Take it you only had like adults in the chat playing. As I say, you didn't have no 12-year-old screaming.
No, it was all
music,
No, I mean
there really wasn't as much back then anyway. I think because when the 360 first came out, I think for about at least the first year, I remember there always seemed to be sort of like older people online that you'd bump into, less of like the youngsters and like the kids.
Yeah.
I think it's because it was new, wasn't it? A new machine, 300
and sort of reasonably expensive, at the time.
When it start filtering down in the next couple of years, I suppose that's when that sort of happened more.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I just wanted to mention this because, sitting here, I'm living my bachelor life for a couple of weeks, and what I've really noticed that people have moved on, in our community, and the old people I used to game with a hell of a lot. We've all got older, and hardly anyone who I used to game with is ever online anymore, and that's really hit home for me in the last couple of days while I've had free time and no fucker's been online that I used to game with to play with. You know what I mean? So I was just kind of yearning a little bit for the good old days, and that's why I thought I'd load up a bit of Graw too. And yeah, I've got a really good nostalgia hit playing that again. So yeah, it's a really great game, and yeah, I had a lot of fun on that. So yeah, man. Okay, so a few more games then. Just briefly mention. Had a really good session on Saturday with Frosty on Sea of Thieves. I'm not going to mention any more on that. Just saying that the game is still great, and we had a lot of fun playing that. I also download. This is a game that I have been playing on PC, but also downloaded it onto my Xbox. Call of Duty Warzone, and that only because I haven't played it in ages, and I just fancied playing a COD for some reason. I don't know why. I just fancied playing it, and they got this new King Kong versus Godzilla event going on. So I wanted to check that out, and it's actually a hell of a lot of fun. So bearing in mind, I haven't played Call of Duty Warzone since they they added a new map and changed all the guns and stuff, you know, because I think when Vanguard came out, they added all the World War II weapons and shit. I've not played it since then, so it's been a long time since I've played COD Warzone. And I thought, well, Peeps was telling me about the King Kong versus Godzilla event. I thought, you know what, I'm going to play it, and you know what, I've had a lot of fun on it. I played it a little bit on my PC, and then I put it on my Xbox because I fancied sitting downstairs. And you know what, I'm really enjoying it on the Xbox because there's something about sitting on the sofa, which you know, in gaming, which I hadn't done in so long, just sitting on the sofa, you know, with a controller in your hand, just playing a COD. And you know, the COD games suit controllers so well. You know, I had a really good amount of fun playing this on the Xbox. Obviously, I played it on my own, just with randoms because no one else was online, and yeah, just really enjoyed it. I'm actually thinking of picking up Vanguard now because it's on sale, but I'm holding off because it's one of those. I don't like to. I'm trying to stop myself making impulse buys these days, so I'm holding off to see how I feel maybe in a few days or so. So yeah. So talking about older games as well. Today, I did actually play online with someone who I hadn't played online with for a while. Pudster. You know Pudster very well, don't you, Darren?
Oh right, yeah, played with him a while back. I haven't played with him for a while now.
Yeah, I was playing some Division 2 with him today on the Xbox. Because obviously,
yeah, isn't it a new season or something?
I have no clue. Because obviously I rinsed it on the PC, did absolutely everything, and then I picked it up on the Xbox to play with Peebs, and then Peebs just kind of abandoned me and didn't want to play it anymore. So I jumped on there with Pudster today and started the New York DLC with him. So we're doing that today. Yeah, and obviously I've done it before on PC, but the game is quite old now. Because time just passes you by and you don't realise how long some games have been out for. Do you? Yeah. As you
get older, it flies.
Yeah, so obviously it is quite an old game now, but pumped a few hours into it today with Pudster doing the New York DLC, and you know, it still holds up really well, I think, like graphically, and the gameplay is a lot of fun. And
it still looks nice and well made. It just kind of didn't have the legs for me compared to the original.
No, because once you finished it, it's kind of like, well, I'm fucking nothing else to do now. So yeah, you know, I just enjoying it, and it's just nice. It was just nice playing it, an Xbox game online with someone in Party Chat, because it's been so long since I've sat and done that on my Xbox with someone I know. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And the last game I
bought this week as well. It was on offer. I think it was like £3 for the standard edition, and it was £12 with all the DLC.
bargain, mate. Bargain.
Probably try to play it once they turn the servers off, though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. Okay, so last game I've been playing, and I completed it this morning. Trek to Yomi. This is on Game Pass. It is freaking amazeballs. If you have Game Pass, get it. If you don't have Game Pass, get it. It is so good. So basically, it's a samurai game, but it's set up in the kind of stylization of those old black and white samurai films. Yeah, so if you're into that, get it, because it's all in black and white, and it has kind of that kind of grainy texture to it as well, you know, like an old tape. And it's not long, it's about 4 or 5 hours, but it's kind of like a 2.5D side-scrolling samurai game, and it does get quite difficult the more you play it, because you got your samurai sword, but it's all about timing your blocks, and you use like your left thumbstick and move it like up and press X for like, and down and X, or right and X, and it does different sword moves. And then you've got the Y button for the hard, you know, the heavy attacks, and you can roll and dodge out the way and stuff like that as well. It's set over like 6 chapters, and there's always a couple of boss fights within those chapters. So basically, you start off as a kid, and some stuff happens. I'm not going to give spoilers, and then you move on, and then the game moves on, and you're an adult. You got to get revenge. Well, you want to get revenge at some point, but then some stuff happens, and the game goes on. I don't really want to spoil it for people, but I just want to say it is definitely, for me, a highlight on Game Pass. If you've got Game Pass, this is a must play. You know, it's Webby's star Game Pass game of the week. That's going to be a thing now, right? It's really good. You know, it's like, if I had to give a Game Pass game ranking out of 10, it would be a 10 out of 10 for Game Pass. Must play. But I can't talk about it too much because I'll end up spoiling the story. And the story is really, really cool. What I like about it, it's all in Japanese, and it has the subtitles as well. So yeah, it's very.
It looked really good, like in the trailers and stuff I saw for it.
Yeah, it is fantastic, but it's hard to talk about without spoiling the story. But the gameplay mechanics themselves are really, really cool. Like, you learn different, like, more sword moves the more you play the game. There's collectibles throughout the levels as well, which are tied to some of the achievements. So you need to watch out for those. But yeah, it's just really nice because I just love that stylization of it. I mean, it's something you don't really see, you know, and it's and yeah, that's all I want to say on it. Really, it's just a fantastic experience, and you need to play it. You really do. And even if you don't have Game Pass, buy it. You know, you can buy it on PlayStation or Xbox or PC. It's really, really good. That's all I played, dudes. That's played.
Oh, I forgot to say one game I played. I don't own it, but I've played it. A couple of times now, actually. A friend of mine's got Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a force feed steering wheel and pedals.
Oh, you played with a steering wheel?
And like
nice.
the cage thing that you set it all in, so it's the right height.
Bloody hell.
That's fun. That is fun. Going,
and you don't
you'll
drive
literally
either,
get
do
certain... No, I don't.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I do pretty well on it, I think, to a degree.
Good. It's a great game, man.
It's quite funny.
Yeah,
it's quite funny when you with the obviously the force feedback and the fact that like the wheel will actually try and tear from your grasp.
Yeah.
with certain bits. Like there are certain cars you get into in that game when you're like, this car's trying to kill me. Like you feel like you're literally wrestling to keep it on the road.
Yeah.
At times, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a
And
great
I'm just
game.
going to chuck out a random recommendation for a game
Yep.
for people if they're not aware of it. I haven't played it, but I've kind of ended up watching hours and hours of people playing this game on the PC, and it looks like a ton of fun. It's called Vampire Survivors.
Never heard of it.
I've bought this.
It looks amazing.
Is this on Steam? Is it? Oh, it is.
It's on Steam. It's like about £3 or something. It's ridiculously cheap.
Oh, it's a bullet hell
game. No, this is the thing. The game plays itself. You just move the character around the screen. That's, I think, the only interaction you have, is you just move a character around the screen, and you have constant waves of enemies closing in around you, which increases the time goes up. And you just move the character around to pick up experience orbs and stuff and chests that level your character up to give him more abilities to keep you being able to survive, and those abilities can go mental, and the game gets like, where the entire screen is just filled with enemies. Like, for the price it is, I was just like, wow. And it's really fun to watch people play this as well, because you can see some crazy builds that they come out with to obviously get through it. This is something I'm actually hoping eventually ends up on like console as a cheap little download or something, because it just looks like that kind of game where you like, yeah, I'll stick that on for a game, see how well I do. And as you play through it,
on Switch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you could. There's characters to unlock. There's abilities to unlock. There's little challenges in the game for people to do to unlock other things. There's like all the money you earn in the game you can then use to unlock certain characters if you fulfill conditions, or buy permanent power-ups for your character, so you can start always with like a bit more health, faster radius, or like XP buffs and things like that to help you level faster, etc. Are you watching like things for it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. It's £2.09.
It looks great. You can't argue with that value.
No.
In my opinion. Yeah, I hope this comes out on a lot of things. You could probably even maybe get away with having this on phone at some point, considering all you're doing is really moving the character around.
Yeah, got only 200 meg.
I wouldn't say toilet game, because the games can last up to 30 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Depending on how well you play it out. Yes. The longer you survive, the harder it gets. But at the end of 30 minutes, death comes and basically insta-kills you. Unless you've got certain abilities that can maybe keep him away, it is apparently possible to kill death.
Okay.
2 minutes is good.
Well,
if you've got
I've got people playing it on my friends list on Steam, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay, so let's get into the news then. There's a little bit of news, and I just want to talk about very briefly. Apparently, Square Enix lost $200 million on Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, I think that game did suffer because of Avengers.
Yeah, I think so too.
And maybe from the fact of over pushing it.
Yeah.
Like, over pushing games can be a thing, because I think Deathloop didn't perform as well as possible, and that might have just been due to the fact where it's like we've seen like an hour and shit of this game before it's even out.
Yeah.
Or like about an hour or so of like different coverage of it or whatever. Sometimes keeping stuff back's fairly reasonable. I mean, you look at Elden Ring, like, which is going to be coming up in the news in a minute, more than likely. That game didn't really tease too much before it eventually dropped.
Yeah.
And that game's obviously been hugely successful.
I don't know what's going on with Square Enix. I mean, I think we talked about it. I'm not sure because I forget. Like, time just flies. But they sold off a load of their IPs, didn't they?
All their Western developers and IPs.
Yeah, so Tomb Raider, Thief, Deus Ex, to some group called Embracer Group for $300 million. Which, you know, isn't a lot, but they're now looking at Square Enix are now looking at focusing on blockchain
Shit.
and
On shit.
NFTs. And what's really funny is there's a massive crypto crash going on at the moment. So NFTs have completely crashed, Bitcoin's completely crashed.
I wouldn't
all
say
of that,
completely, but they're going down rapidly.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
almost like it's not real.
Yeah, funny that. Yeah, so I wanted to mention that. There's rumours.
Going the way of Konami, isn't he?
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
I mean, Square is still probably they've obviously got Final Fantasy 14 is the game that has literally kept them going.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt, like even on the outside looking in, you must be kind of like, how are they still going if they just keep flopping everything that kind of comes out or underperform? Let's go because 14 did exceedingly well. It is like a story that I doubt will ever be repeated in the gaming industry again, of turning absolute failure into something that's like saves the company almost, including a video game franchise that started off where they thought it was going to be the final game they made.
Yeah, that's it.
So they'll have that. They'll have 16, but then there's a lot of people like fans thinking like, what the hell are you doing after that? Especially when you're getting rid of like your stuff. But I think hopefully the blockchain stuff just goes to mobile crap at the end of the day, because they've got quite a fair bit invested into like their mobile stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, not for me at all.
Yeah, another bit of news though, which is quite interesting, is Titanfall 3 has reportedly been spotted for pre-order in GameStop in Germany. So, and apparently it's real. So, you heard it here first, folks. Titanfall 3 is in development. Are you excited?
I didn't play I played the first one briefly, but didn't bother with the second one. Which, although I heard a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's great." I don't really look for sort of parkour in my FPS games.
Fair enough.
It's very good.
As much.
Yeah.
I've heard all the people that play it seem to like absolutely love it, and so it kind of got treated like shit because wasn't it thrown out in a stupid release window in between Battlefield and Call of Duty or something?
Yeah, but if the multiplayer had legs, people would just carried on playing it though, wouldn't they? So, those things. But yeah, the single player was really good. Okay, next bit of news is from Bethesda. Starfield has been delayed until 2023, and another game I had no idea was even a thing, a game called Redfall. Yeah, so they've both been delayed until next year.
I'm sure I called that like a while back.
Yeah, it was quite funny because when
because we hadn't seen much of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that 100%. But when Wes and Sly were on as well, me and Wes both said that we don't think it's going to come out this year as well. And so me, you, and Wes have all been proven right. It was only Sly that thought it was still coming out this year. But one of those things, man. Yeah. So, but it's quite interesting because I don't think Xbox have got really any exclusives coming out this year now, really. I
pretty much they'll buy one probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because Stalker's not coming out for a while now, I think.
If it ever comes out, to be honest. If it does, it'll be at least 2 or 3 years away now. I mean, their dev team are literally fighting on the front line of a real world war right now. Some of them probably won't. Some of them probably won't even make it out of there alive, to be quite honest with you. So, I don't envision this game being finished for a very, very long time.
Just man up, get in there and finish the game. Put somebody bulletproof vests on, some metal hats, are sorted. Just get on with it.
Yeah. Next bit of news though, which was quite interesting. When I was on holiday, I was noticing that Xbox Live was having some issues, having some server outages that lasted, and some people couldn't play any of their games for 4 days. even their single player games. Because of the DRM, you have to be connected online for them to verify that you own the game so you can fucking play it.
I think this
Absolutely
affected
redonkulous.
my copy of Valhalla because there was a multiple amount of days when I stuck the game on and it told me I didn't own the DLC.
What?
Even though it's installed on my hard drive, so I'd have to keep restarting the game until it recognised
for
I had it.
fuck's
Because
sake.
obviously I can't really load a save file when my character's kitted out in DLC that it says I don't own. I
Yeah,
don't think that would go down very well with the game when I load it.
yeah. Yeah, so that was up to 4 days, which is obviously upset people, and Microsoft do need to sort that out, to be honest. It's not on, you know, if you own a game, you should be able to fucking play it, even if you're not connected to the internet or if their fucking stupid servers go down. So
It's just a games thing in general. It's not just Microsoft though, is it? PlayStation will have the same.
It's getting like
It's
you
just
just
their
have
turn.
these chinks in the armour to come through to
Yeah.
be like, oh, hang on a minute, this doesn't work as we thought it did.
Yeah. That's it.
But haven't they also said now that there's a possible way of people with they're thinking of doing an idea or something where if you have the Xbox Series S and say you've got the older 360 titles or whatever, you can sort of like have a barcode scan to show that you have the game or something, so you can
Oh, right.
download it and still access it. So it
That's
still
quite
gives you
cool.
access to your physical library
That's quite cool.
or something
Yeah,
similar to that.
They were so if you had a Series X or Xbox One, if you had the disc in there, or it was linked to your account, then they could sort of that you could play it on the S.
Yeah, but you could
got,
then
you know,
just
the
sell the
disc.
discs and then still play the game, couldn't you?
And what I'm
Yeah,
saying
or
is,
just like photocopy the barcodes.
Yeah, it's be stupid though. All the barcodes are all on Google
Scan
anyway,
them
aren't
and
they? So,
whatnot.
yeah. Right, my last bit of news is it looks like a Silent Hill has been leaked. Not the whole game, obviously, but the fact that they are working on a new Silent Hill has been leaked and screenshots went online. I don't have the screenshots to hand. Yeah, it looks like there's a new Silent Hill coming, but there is rumours that it's actually a remake of the original game, which I think is very exciting.
Well, yeah, especially considering, like we've said this before with like multiple remakes, they've got a lot of hype behind the name, and a lot of gamers know the franchise. But then there's people that weren't around when the original came out.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Now having the option to sort of go back and play it all rejigged. Isn't the rumor that it's Bloober Team though?
I don't know, mate. I didn't. I can't see that, but it's apparently it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive as well. So it'll be quite interesting.
Well, there is rumours of like, oh, they've got an old franchise that people are going to be really happy about, but we shall see, I guess.
Yeah. That's all my news. Anyone else got news before I move on to questions?
No? There's probably more, but not that I can think of.
Okay, let me. Okay, Clarky79 asks: Are Xbox now looking to have a fairly quiet end of year, seeing as Starfield has now been pushed back? I can't think of any big Microsoft release coming this year. Nor can
We'll probably see something at E3, and PlayStation had it last year.
Yeah, there's still plenty of content
out there. They didn't really have any big first-party stuff. Yeah, there'll be the third-party stuff still.
Yeah, I mean, what's Sony got this year? That, you know, have they got any exclusives coming out this year? I can't think of any on there either. To be fair,
God of War Ragnarok is
that this
possible
year?
for this year.
Oh,
I think they still want it if they can to get it out for sort of like holiday this year.
It'll probably be delayed.
Delayed.
Yeah.
It'll get delayed.
More than likely.
We said this in January, didn't we, Webby?
Yeah.
The Cyberpunk stuff has freaked everyone out, I believe. Like, it's like, look, we can't keep putting out stuff that's not entirely done. I mean, Sony are probably wishing that they gave Horizon Forbidden West a bit more time in the oven before they pushed it out. And to be honest, if they had released it, say, around now or beginning of next month or something, it'd have probably done better because it's out of the way of Elden Ring, which
Yeah.
was the other news story that I was going to mention.
Oh, right.
It's now sold more copies than Call of Duty Vanguard, making it the best-selling game of the last 12 months.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. That might be why Vanguard's on sale. You know what I mean? Because isn't there not a COD coming out this year? I think they're making it every 2 years now, aren't they? Is that right? I can't
Modern
remember.
Warfare 2's this year, I believe.
I think
and then
after
after that, it's going on a bit of a hiatus because obviously the
yeah,
Microsoft deal's going through and whatnot.
yeah. Cool.
I think PlayStation thought Elden Ring sell as well as it did because a lot of people, sales wise, like hide away from the Dark Souls games because of how hard they are. But for some reason, a lot of people are just bought into it.
Yeah, it's a great game, mate. You should play it.
I'll play in about 5 years.
Fair dues, mate.
I think their estimation was like 40% of the players they think have never played a Souls-like or Souls game before.
That's pretty awesome. So
A lot of copies on eBay. There's a lot of copies.
That's what hype and player feedback will do for your games.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot on eBay, and that says in the description.
Yeah.
Did it once, too hard.
Yeah. Okay, Terry Phillipson says, what are your thoughts on even more delays to Xbox exclusives? And with the usual 5 to 6 year life cycle of consoles because of the pandemic, do you think the next version of consoles will be delayed? I think we're going to see another mid-gen upgrade on the consoles again.
Definitely.
Possibly next year.
But yeah, but I think they're still going to keep their console cycle, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the time it's taking to make games now. I mean, who knows, man? Who fucking knows what's going to happen? Tough call, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I said it before, and I don't to call anyone out, like individual, whether it's the developers or the management, publishers. Video games industry is just terrible when it comes to like managing itself.
Yeah.
Like every game gets delayed, takes so long to make the games, and you hear nothing but excuses all the time. Oh, well, it takes so long because of this reason, that reason, bloody blah. And I said, well, I get that.
Yeah.
But like the management, when they're in pre-production of the thing, I said, right, how long are we going to take to make this game? Is it 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it's going to be? How they get them so wrong and they get delayed for years and years.
Yeah.
People get restarted, management teams get sacked. They've just got to be a lot more open and honest and just, whether it's, I don't know exactly who's lying, but it's not getting managed correctly at all, is it? I mean, when was the last time a game was not delayed?
I know. Well,
I think a lot of it was. It's last 2 years we have been dealing with the pandemic, which has had a massive knock-on effect to all industries in general.
So I'm saying this has been going on for over 10, 15 years. It's getting stupid just how
I'd say the last decade it's becoming more prevalent.
And not only that, plus they keep adding so much for DLC later as well. So they're cutting stuff from the game they used to put in and adding it back later as DLC, and it's just affecting them. They're just getting. I think this is
This has been going on for years. This has been going on. Yeah, but this has been going on before the pandemic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Finished games coming out. Yeah, and then and you're right. Like games needing the day one patches and and all the DLCs. You're 100% correct. And I think and then I'm going to be going on to another question in a moment, which kind of reflects on this as well. And I do kind of have this kind of feeling. I'm going to go on to it now from Neil. He says, anyone else starting to lose their gaming mojo this gen? Is it age or just bad unfinished games and microtransactions? And I think, the second part of that, he summed it up completely well with the unfinished games and microtransactions. Us old school gamers, I think we're kind of sick of it now. We go back to our older games and it's just a game. It's there. You can play it from start to finish with no none of this extra bollocks. And you look at games now, and it's just disappointing, to be honest. It really is.
Well, yeah, it's also, I think, down to the fact, like we talked about this before in party and such, like obviously we've got E3 coming up, or the time period where E3 would usually occur, and I think as of next week we're starting to sort of get drip fed various sort of game trailers and stuff, and we'll have the showcases and such. And going back sort of 10 years, it used to be like my Christmas.
Yeah.
I used to absolutely love that. I'd stay up until like 2, 3 in the morning watching the shows. I'd be like all hyped. And now I just kind of catch up on stuff a bit later on. And if I'm lucky after some of these sort of shows, or even multiple, I could count the games I'm interested in on one hand.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, I'd be like, oh shit, I better bust the wallet open.
Yeah,
like, this is going to cost a lot of money. Like, I'm interested in I'd say probably about 50% of what's shown.
Yeah.
I honestly say I can't think of one game coming out in the next few years that I want.
Final Fantasy 16 for me. I think that's about it.
I want Granblue Fantasy and Project Eve this year. Like, hopefully.
I'll get delayed.
We've been waiting for Granblue for a while. I think that's been sort of 4 or 5 years in the can now.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to move on because time is ticking along. Terry says, or Terry's got a couple of things he just wants to say. He says, what games are everyone playing at this moment in time? I've just got Rise of the Tomb Raider on PS5, even though I played it before. Do people go back to old games just because they've enjoyed them in the past? Yes, I do. Do you guys?
You answered that with, you've answered that with your Bioshock Infinite.
And Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2.
2.
Yeah, 100%. I know Nick does. I know you do, Darren. You do go back to some older games from time to time as well. And
oh yeah,
yeah, it's just to get that nostalgia hit, man. It's fucking awesome.
And they're just really well made, enjoyable games.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to play them most of the time, and they're all going to work. You don't have to make sure you've got all the DLC installed and you're connected to the internet, etc. All the sort of like things that are a detriment to the medium nowadays.
Yeah.
Your Dreamcast keeps turning itself off.
Yeah.
Sega support. I wonder if they're still open. I might ring that later.
Lols. Okay. Last thing I wanted to mention from Facebook is from Terry. He says, he just says, I do think our expectations of next gen have not been met due to the pandemic and shortage of consoles. Only a handful of games you could say are anywhere near next gen, to be honest. I've always been Xbox. Even though I have had both consoles, but I do feel the PS5 has a fresher UI and the new controller is great. Well, sums it up quite nicely.
Still miss the themes for the PlayStation though. It'd be nice to see them come back at some point, but I don't know how they do it with the UI as it is now.
Yeah.
Definitely the worst console launch for both of them I think they've ever done.
It's just.
But yeah, they've sold a lot of units still. They just haven't sold as many as they hoped.
Well, now you can finally order an Xbox Series X and S directly off the Microsoft store. I've noticed they've been up there for about a week now. You can just buy them now. So
yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around. Apparently, Microsoft have paid off people so they can get their parts and Sony can't. But
that's business.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, but
oh well.
Or it's just like Sony ponies just crying about it.
Yeah.
Also, if you can't buy them, this thing, if you can't buy them, it makes you want them more. I mean, the Wii didn't have many games for the first few years, but they just sold like stupid amounts, the same as the Switch. I mean, what was that? Maybe Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart. I think that was about it for about 2 years, wasn't it? 2-3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Big, the big sort of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I'm saying, it's just that's how we are, and if we're told we can't have something, we want it more.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That is it. Right, that's all the questions. Anything else you guys want to add before we end? Or was that it? We done?
Yeah, no, that's it at the moment.
Awesome. I'd like to thank you both for coming on. It's been amazing. Nick, I know you're probably not going to be on next week, are you?
Now I'm going to be very busy at work over the next 2 months because someone's been sacked and retired and handed in their notice. So that's always fun.
Yeah, you're on your own.
And then everyone else has to pick up the slack. It's like, oh, cheers.
Yeah. Okay, so if anyone is interested in guesting, please let me know. That'll be awesome. And don't forget, we will be back 8:30 p.m. twitch.tv/Webby360G. We will be there. Next week is a Patreon week, so if you want to listen to the full show, you need to tune in on Twitch if you don't want to subscribe to that. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSND, SteamID, Webby360G.
That's Nick Fights on Twitch, Twitter. What else am I on? Facebook. Shop trying to get his Dreamcast fixed. I'll be there as well.
And Sensei Switch.
Awesome. So thank you very much. If you want to sign up to the Patreon, visit patreon.com/360gamercast. You can subscribe to that from as little as £5 a month, and you get a show every single week of the year when I'm not on holiday. I won't be on holiday again for another few years, so you're all right. I'm looking at doing another special with my mate Damo again in the next few weeks for another spooky special as well, non-gaming related, just ghosts and shit like that. It's just something different to chat about. Yeah, so that's about it. So from everyone here, it's been awesome. Nick, I hope you do come back to us as soon as you can. We will miss your dulcet tones for the next, well, however long it is. And yeah, so from all of us here, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Hey.
There we go. There.
Actually got through that fairly fast, and we'd all played quite a few games there as well.
Yeah, man. 2 hours, 22 minutes. That was long enough because it's 10:45 and I've got work in the morning. I want to go to bed in a minute. So, all good, man. All good.
On nights next week. It's going to be fun.
Ugh, fucking chips. Some balls.
So they just put a thing out. Can you just do 12-hour days, 12-hour nights, 6 days a week for the next 2 months? I'm like,
oh my
if I said,
God.
And I just said, what if I said no? And I was like, there's only 2 people who can actually do my job at the moment.
Wow. That's insane.
And that run 24 hours a day. So I was like, oh, there is no one else.
Hopefully they remember obviously what you've done or what you put in.
They think they're doing me a favour.
Yeah. I always used to get that. I'd be like, oh, think of the money. And it's like, well, what's the point of the money if I ain't got any time to spend it?
I was saying to Webby in WhatsApp when I was saying to him, I was like, I'll get up, like, if I'm on early shift, I'll get up about 4:45 in the morning to get there for 6, and I'm home by about 7 o'clock at night. By the time I've showered and have something to eat, it's like, time to go to bed and do it all over again tomorrow.
Oh, it's nuts. Absolutely insane, dude.
I love it. Some people just love it. We've got some lorry drivers there what do 15, 16 hours a day every day, and I think Mrs. must love that milkman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, how could you do that? It's just,
yeah, it's crazy.
There's too many people there who, work so you can live. You don't live to work, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people I know that sort of like finished work at 10 o'clock at night, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they're back at 4 a.m. So like, what the hell?
Right, dudes, I'm going to jump out because I'm really tired. So I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Webby, mate.
cool.
Catch
Nice
you
catching
guys.
up, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone on Twitch, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at the same time. See you later.